Hey guys, welcome to Chat and Tales with Jen. I just got some good news. I went into town and had to see my prescriber for mental health. And I was sitting there chit-chatting a bit, and she told me, she asked me if I found a church, because I told her I've been looking for one, so I've been telling her that. And I said no, and she said, well, you're welcome to try my church, and hers is 25 miles outside of the town that I go shopping at. And so from where I live, that'd be like 45, 50 miles. That's a little far for me to drive. So she said her pastor started a Bible study on Tuesdays at a local cafe there where I go shopping at. And I was like, oh, that's for me. I really want to do that. So that is the great news I found out today. Get to have my latte and some good fellowship. On the other hand, let's hope that everything stabilizes with me. I had to confess, I haven't been steady with my meds. Sometimes I just remember too late at night and say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And she and I agree what's causing that is not taking my pills regularly, so it's kind of messing with my brain. I really just wanted to share that good news with y'all, and thank you for the comment. I forgot your name you left yesterday on the video. My word, I gotta do what Lieutenant Columbo says and write these things down. I haven't heard from Bubba's Ford doctor yet, but it's the beginning of the week. I understand they gotta call my warranty company. They gotta see about parts and what's covered and all like that there. So I like going to that prescriber because it's a Christian-based company, and it's someone I can talk to. I can say, oh, I felt God, or I heard God, and I don't have to worry about those psychiatrists saying, no, you're nuts, I'm going to lock you up. No, because they get it. It's nice to have somebody that you can talk to, that you're comfortable enough to be yourself and not have to be afraid of what you say is gonna do you harm, or yeah, I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I had someone on here a while back when I first started, I think, that was inspired. She said that she had given up a while back on her problems, and she was inspired by my videos and, other videos I'm sure she's watched. She didn't mention it, but there's lots of them to watch. And she was going to go back and try to get back on her program. I think that's awesome. I mentioned today to Danielle, my prescriber, that she asked me how the channel was going. I said, oh, it's going pretty good. I told her what I talk about in that. She says, that sounds positive. I said, I try. And she thinks it's good, using it as a reflection tool to listen to myself and make myself aware of what I sound like, and it's a good way to keep track music that I'm so familiar with, that we used to sing in church and that, and it's modern Christian music. And one of the things I do want to say, I don't like to preach it, but I do think it's very important. And I realized it later in life. Maybe if you're younger, it doesn't matter how old you are when you start, but getting your mental health checked out is just as important as getting your physical done, getting your mammograms done, all that stuff. It's good to check in. Get a mental checkup. You know, our brains age. Different things can happen. And, you know, it's like when you go to get a mammogram or something and they might see something concerning, and then you go get it checked out and it's nothing. Or you go get it checked out and it's a little problem. So, wouldn't you want to know if there's something early on, rather than wait and let it get worse and then somebody just really doesn't get it? A good example, I watched a video last night, Mike and I watched it together when he got home from work. There was a man that had wrecked his car, one of those police videos, and he just like slid off the road, wet pavement. And the guy obviously has battle fatigue, PTSD and everything, but he's cool, he's talking and everything, he's not doing anything wrong. And then for some reason, this one cop gets in his head that this guy's been drinking. And you watch the guy walk around, he's walking around pretty stiff, like, you know, I see people in pain, and that guy, he had to have been in some pain. He's really tall. I could tell by the way he was tucking his butt a little bit that he had a back was hurting him, and his feet were kind of turned out, so I really think his hips were bothering him at the time. And as this progressions on, they start telling him that they want to test him for alcohol and if he had anything to drink, and he said, I had a beer about noon, and this was like 5:30 at night or something. So they want to do this. He says, yeah, I'll take a breathalyzer. Well, we don't have one with us, so I'll need you to do the other test. And that's when the guy starts getting real uncomfortable, because he tells them, I can't do that. My hips are shut. I can't cross my legs like that. And he's freaking out because in his mind, it kind of, what I can read off him is it's doing like mine does. It's jumping ahead 10 steps and not slowing down to hear what the police officer was actually saying. He was just jumping full force into whatever he thought was going to be done to him. And the more upset he felt, the louder he got. He wasn't being threatening. He was talking loud. He wasn't pointing or waving his arms or acting like he wanted to fight someone. But his body posture was screaming, you're in my bubble, get out of my bubble. And the way I read that, the reason I read it that way is because I can totally relate to that feeling. When someone is disagreeing or whatever and they start getting too close to me, I really start bugging out. Well, they upped the ante. That cop calls other cops, and now they've got one at each side of him, so he's surrounded by cops. that intensifies the situation with a person with post-traumatic stress and battle fatigue. He's being uncomfortable. He's telling them what he's feeling. He's being clear, but they're not listening to him. They're more focused on their agenda, which is, to me, it was basically get him in handcuffs or whatever they wanted to do. I am usually on the cop side on things, but in this obvious scenario of dealing with a person with mental health issues, I really felt they were really lacking in the training, and I felt that they weren't even really observing his actions or taking into account, like, read the room type thing. They weren't doing that at all. So it was obvious to me, sitting there watching all these people around him, and every time they stepped a little closer to him, that's when he would freak out. And so I'm telling Mike, telling him like I'm telling you guys, I go, this guy's got problems. He's not trying to fight anybody, but they're surrounding him. Like, to me, I would feel threatened too. All he did was slide his car off the road. He didn't call for help. Two people that passed by called and said some guy slid off the road. He was supposed to just get a tow truck, thank you, goodbye. And now the police are turning into this whole big production. I think they were intimidated because of his size. He's a very well-known celebrity type person. He's done many things. I didn't know who he was, but whatever. Said he had over 500,000 followers and stuff like that. Anyhow, ex-military. He was a pro wrestler, I think. And, just like me, nobody knows what that man's been through. Nobody knows his experiences. And these cops, I'm starting to sound like someone that hates cops. I really don't. I should say these instructors, these schools that officers train at really need to be focused on that dealing with mental people, because it's a shame. And the mental people, there's so many more that you don't know. They could look totally normal, they can act totally normal, but maybe they're just a really good actor or actress. You don't know what they're doing at home. If you know, you know. I'm gonna cut this video off, I just wanted to tell you all the good news and kind of vent a little bit about what I saw there. And yeah, think about it. Get checked out, get it,